Hey y'all, it's Leah. I am back with another idea for our ideas book where we are making templates with directions that we can use in future projects. So we're not stuck with what do we do? What do I put in my journal? We have this ideas book is just for pockets. So I have all the pockets that are in here listed. And then I have another book that is for everything else, for tags and clusters and all of those things. So since we are doing kind of an envelope pocket, that will go into this journal. So we'll set that aside. So we are making this cute little envelope pocket that my mom showed me how to do this morning. So it is like making, if you've made your own envelopes before, it's the similar process, but instead of having the flap come over, you're actually going to cut that piece off and then you just attach a doily to the back. These can be made in any size, with any size doily. So that determines the size of the paper that you need. And then I just decorated it a little bit with a little cluster here and then a little rub on across the top because it needed a little something there. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'll set this to the side. Okay. So you're going to grab a doily, whatever size you want, and then you're going to measure the diameter across. And so this one is a little bit shy of 4.5, but I'm just going to go with a 4.5 inch measurement. That will work out totally fine. What you're going to do is you're going to cut your paper down, or cut your paper to 2 inches larger than the diameter of your doily. So if this is 4.5, I need a 6.5 inch square. Okay, so that is what I have cut my paper to. Now you can use single-sided or double-sided paper. It just depends if you want to have white here or if you want to have a pattern here, because your back will show when you lift up your flap. For this instance, I am just going to use white paper, a single-sided paper, because it's just going in my ideas book. But chances are, if I was adding this to a journal, just like I did with this one, I would use double-sided paper. I also did use paper, but you can use cardstock as well. It's just going to add more bulk. The thicker the paper you do, the more bulk it's going to add to your journal. So it just depends on what you are doing. So I am just using single-sided paper for this. Okay. So I've cut this down already to 6.5 by 6.5. Now, if you have made envelopes before, you probably know how to do this part, but if you've never made your own envelope, I'm going to show you the easy peasy way how to do this. So you are going to measure, not really measure, you're just going to find your center. So you're going to lay your ruler on your two ends. So corner to corner, going diagonal, and just somewhere around the center, just make a light little mark. Okay, so I'm just making a little line here. Now you're going to do the same thing going across corner to corner, and you're going to make a little mark. So where they intersect, that is the center of your paper. Okay. If your paper is directional, that is going to be important because you're going to want to make sure that your top is facing whatever needs to be up is facing towards the top, and then you're going to flip it over exactly like that. My paper, I don't care which direction it is going in. Okay, so it doesn't matter. But if you did have a directional page, you'd want to make sure that you were doing that. You'd actually, just kidding, because the bottom part is going to be coming up, you would want you'd want it to be upside down. Okay, I just thought that through for a second, because you're not going to see the back of this. We wouldn't see this part. We're only going to see the part that folds up. So if you want, say if you have writing here, you want your writing to be going in the correct direction. So you would have the top of your paper would be down here. Okay, so you're not going to cut that part off. Okay, all right, so first thing we're going to do is take our top and we're going to fold it just to that center where we're mating where our points meet, and give that a good crease across, and then you are going to cut it off. Okay, and you can actually, if you want to tear it, you can actually tear it that way, or you can cut it on a paper trimmer, or you can cut it with scissors, whatever. I'm just going to do it that way for time's sake. Okay, so however you want to do that. Okay, cut that apart, save that in your scrap pile. Okay, so now you're going to take your doily, you're going to fold your doily in half and give that a good crease. And you're going to rest it over your page, and you want to center it on your page. So your paper is going to be maybe just a little touch larger. So you're just going to center that down, okay? And then flip it over. We're going to glue on the back side, okay? Because this part becomes our flap, our opening, because this is going to be the opening of our envelope, okay? So we're going to do this. We're going to grab our trusty glue, add some glue here. And it's totally up to you how much you glue this down. This is going to be, you know, the back part that you don't see. It's going to be in your journal. It's going to be glued down, so it's not going to be seen very much. So I am going to kind of lay that on there. I'm not going to press it down completely because I want to flip it over and make sure I am catching that edge, that it's on my fold, that my fold is on the top of the page. Okay, so now I can kind of press it down there. All right, cap my glue because my glue seems to dry up super fast and get stuck. Okay, so I want to avoid that. So now I'm just going to move my flap out of the way a little bit. You are going to fold in your centers, okay, or fold in your corners, sorry, to the center point. And you might want to go, so if you can see this, notice that I'm not quite hitting the flap. I'm going to go just a touch past the center so that I want to line it up with my doily. Another trick is if you have a mat like I have that's got the lines on it, that helps you to make sure that you are getting straight creases. Okay, and it's not going to be exact, you know, there's still a little edge there, and that's okay. I can live with that. So then this one, I'm coming over to the center, and I am going just a little bit. They are overlapping just a smidge. And we're going to do that. And then it is up to you how far you bring your bottom up. I usually go about a 1/2 inch to about 3/4 of an inch there, but it's totally your call how far you want to go up with that. Okay, and then you have some options of what to do with this little flap. You can, I'll show you what it would look like. You can round the corner. I like to use the big corner rounder on that, so I can do that, so it just rounds it over. You can also fold it like that so that it just kind of folds and goes straight across. So it's up to you how you would like to do your envelope. This one, I folded it and then glued the flap down, so it gives me that straight across look. This one, I think I'm going to leave the rounded corner. If you were going to ink, that now is the time that you would ink. So you want to ink this part, your sides, these here. I probably would have inked up here. I didn't do it on this one because the paper was kind of dark, but if it was like a lighter color, I'd probably ink up here before I glued on my doily. I forgot to say that part, so apologize for that. So that would be an option. So go ahead and do your inking now, and then you're ready to glue. So you're going to glue. Oh, forgot one more thing. Your other option, if you want to take off these little corners, you can definitely do that because it does take away some of the bulk. So it's right here where our two parts met. So you're just cutting out this piece. Okay. We can do that. Get rid of those pieces. it's all about taking out the bulk. It helps. Every little bit helps in our journals. Okay, now we are ready to glue. So I'm going to glue a little bit on the side, and then I'm not going to go all the way up to the rounded part because that part is going to be sticking out, and I don't want it to get stuck to the page. Okay, so we glue that down there. And then now we are done. So we have our little envelope. So see, this is where I probably should have gone in a little bit more on there and to avoid this little piece there. But again, it's going in my ideas book. I'm not super worried about it. Okay. All right. So let's get our directions for this. So you want to measure your doily's diameter. You want to cut your paper in a square 2 inches larger than your doily. You want to measure corner to corner diagonally to find your center. So we're looking at the back and measuring, measuring that way. Then you're going to fold your top down and cut off that top. You're going to fold your doily in half and then glue it to the outside of the piece where you cut. You're going to fold your sides in and your bottom up and then trim off the excess. That's those little corners. Ink and glue, and then decorate as desired. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get this into our book. We're on page 31. This is project number 50. Thank y'all if you have been with me since early on. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're just joining me, you might want to go back and see some of the projects that I've done in the past, because there are 49 other ones. Okay, so if you like this one, maybe there's some other ones in there that you like. I try to keep my videos pretty short and succinct. We have written directions for everything that you can screenshot and make your own. So hopefully you are liking those. If there's something you want to see, please tell me. And then, should have done, let's see if I can rip this off. Do that a little bit up higher. Get a little more glue on there. There we go. All right, so that is our doily envelope. Go ahead and write that in our page. That's going to be on page 31. And then I like to write the number of the video in parentheses on there. If you're making an ideas book and getting ideas from multiple people, you could even write the person the channel that you are watching on there. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you make your own doily envelopes, and let me know if you do, or just say hi in the comments. And thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time. If I can get my glue back together. There we go. All right. Bye, y'all.